Alright, today is another covers video, but don't worry, this one has a theme. A theme that I know my subscriber Robert is going to cream his pants over. It is homage covers, or homage. That is the correct way to say it. Homage just sounds better. I have usually avoided including covers like this because I don't think it is great to pick out an artist doing a tribute to someone else's art as an example. There have been some homage covers in these before. There was a Detective Batman one. There was the Patriot Man cover that was a remake of a splash page. There has been a handful, but I do try to stay away from them. I also came up with a last minute rule for this one. There will be future editions based on homage covers because there's loads and loads of them. But for this first one, I decided I didn't want any artists doing a homage to themselves. And I decided that, so last minute, that 3 of these covers were swap outs. Can it possibly do this video without a Ron French cover in the mix? This is Captain America 349, which is a homage to Jack Quimby's cover for Captain America 193. The twist is now we have the Captain and Bucky in place of Captain America and Falcon Man. Or if you want to do some mental gymnastics, you have U.S.Agent and Bucky in place of Captain America and Falcon Man. Although that wouldn't explain why U.S.Agent is using Captain America's shield. Action and Comics 618 with a cover by John Bogdanove that is referencing the iconic Carmine Falcone art of Batman and Robert. I believe the original art wasn't a cover, but instead a press poster, something like that. This has been referenced heaps by DC, even once or twice by Marvel. But I picked this one out because it is one of the first variations on it that I thought of. We have a nice little parallel too, with Robert having graduated to Batman's place on the original image. Sometimes it is just little inversions or twists on an idea that make homage covers a bit clever. Although now I regret picking this one because I have been wanting to do good covers representing things I don't like. And this would be one of them. Spider-Man choosing to abandon his life as Peter Parker and become the Spider full time. This is obviously a recreation of the cover to Amazing Spider-Man 50 by Junior Senior, and this reinterpretation is by Martin Bagels. And stay tuned to hear a story about Oasis. I don't know what this one is in reference to. Someone told me ages ago that this cover was an old Superboy cover, and I never worked out which. If you know, comment down below. First one in, you will get your comment pinned to the top. This is Superboy 8 by Wallace Grummett, one of my favourite artists. And I would imagine, this is all presumptuous, but I would guess that the original cover had the original Superboy, the one I call Smaller Superman. He was getting punched in the face by someone, and now they have flipped it, and now Smaller Superman is doing the punching the new Superboy. This is West Coast Avengers 54, and it is by Jason Byrne, recreating the cover to Fantastic Force #1. This is one of the first homage covers my brain thinks of. I'll tell you why. I think it was at the point where I started properly collecting comics and back issues. This was maybe the first homage cover I got to where I immediately recognised it as a homage to another cover. I straight away knew this was Fantastic Force #1. And the other thing is I love the team we have here. And it is a fun reference, and I like it. Oasis have announced their reunion, and I thought I would tell you about the time I saw an Oasis tribute act perform at the Student Union at university. They were not Noasis. Noasis is like the big Oasis tribute band. I'll give Oasis this, not many bands, if any, have at the height of their popularity had tribute bands enter the charts. The one I saw was called, I think they were called U.S.Agent. It was actually a week or two after Oasis broke up even. They were doing the student bar at my university, and they did 4 songs. 4 Oasis songs, and up front they were shit. They didn't even try to look or act like Oasis. They didn't have the air or the parkas, and they only did 4 songs, which is about 15 minutes. Now, if you were to narrow Oasis down to 4 songs, it's actually not easy, because Oasis come with at least 2, maybe 3 unavoidable songs. Wonderwall. They have to play Wonderwall. There's Don't Look Back in Anger. Both of them are basically essential for any Oasis tribute bands. Then you've got stuff like Live Forever, Supersonic, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Some Might Say, which was a #1 single, Roll With It, which I absolutely ate, Shaker Maker, Rock and Roll Star. There's loads of Oasis songs to pick from, and those are just their first 2 albums, the 2 albums most people like. So Oasis were only doing 4 songs, and you would think they would come out with the 4 mega tunes to get all the pisshead rugby lads singing along. They open with Lila. An unusual choice, but yeah, I can see the logic. It has got a catchy chorus. It can get people up and out of their seats. Hey, Lila. Not the opener I would have expected, but I can see the reasoning. Next up on the set list was She's Electric. Another surprising choice, but it is an album track that many would believe was a big single. People know it. Third song they played, The Importance of Being Idle. It was at this point I thought they had been very smart, and they had played 3 mediocre Oasis songs, and they were going to close it with a fucking banger. Basically, after playing those songs, if you go into Wonderwall, it is going to be the best thing they do. They could even do Roll With It, and it would seem like the best song of the night. Final song, closing number. Not Wonderwall, not Don't Look Back in Anger, not even Supersonic, no. It was Lord, Don't Slow Me Down, which I don't think was even Oasis. I think it was a Noel Gallagher solo single from 2008. It is a non-album single. It's also a complete rip-off of Spread Your Love by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. They closed with that and then went off, and the audience were cheering for an encore. Not because they were good, but because they hadn't played any decent Oasis songs. They were chanting for Wonderwall and Live Forever for a solid 10 or 15 minutes. And after them, an Indian guy from Bradford came on and lip-synced to Bruno Mars. They were still chanting Wonderwall, Wonderwall, when he was doing Girl, You're Amazing Just the Way You Are. That was my story. What song would you want a bad Oasis tribute act to perform after those 4 underwhelming choices? They weren't even that good. They just sounded like a band playing Oasis covers rather than a band playing a Bean Oasis. I have many more stories about tribute bands for future episodes of covers videos about tribute covers. So I'll give them 7 thumbs up in homage to myself saying 7 thumbs up in other videos. The singer didn't even have a tambourine, for fuck's sake.